Friday. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're going to feature the M14 rifle. This was a U.S. battle rifle, and just a disclaimer, this isn't a true M14. It has a commercial receiver, but this was originally manufactured as a select fire battle rifle, and it was approved in 1957 to replace the M1 Garand, or Garand, depending on how you want to say it. And in 1959 they were officially adopted and issued. They had a lot of problems initially starting up, so I believe it was the 101st Airborne that received the first shipments. But anyway, they were a 7.62 by 51 NATO chambered rifle, which was a smaller cartridge than what we were using, the standard M2 30 caliber for the Garand. And they're quite a bit smaller, but with the new ball powders they had at the time, they were able to match the ballistics pretty much. So they were a gas operated rotating bolt design, and they weighed about 9.2 pounds empty. The rifle is just over 44 inches in total length, or 1.126 millimeters, and the barrel length is 22 inches, or 559 millimeters. They have a rear aperture sight, or the peep sight kind of matches. It's basically identical to the M1 Garand. It is adjustable for windage and elevation, and it uses the peep sight aperture. Here you can see there was a clip guide. These used a 20 round box magazine, and that was one of the complaints with the M1 battle rifle, so we only had an 8 round M block. So this has 20 rounds of the 7.62 NATO. This rifle originally came with a walnut stock. The first production had a flat butt plate like the M1, but later they realized that they needed more support for a select fire rifle, so they added a shoulder bracket that stabilized it on the shoulder. These are a 1 and 12 inch twist barrel and 4 groove, and the gas system, unlike that of the M1 rifle, it has the operating rod, but it is much shorter. It doesn't go all the way into the gas cylinder, whereas the M1 went all the way in. This actually has a poppet valve inside, and it's much shorter. And the bolt differs in it is a rotating roller design. It has a roller installed as opposed to just a fixed lug. This helped for smoother cycling, and fully automatic fire. This rifle was capable of select fire. It would have had a switch here. This is just a dummy switch, but you could rotate it and it would engage. There's actually, this is a demilled receiver, but this lug would hold the switch, which would engage the sear and allow select fire. There's a queen yellow jacket flying around looking to try and make a nest somewhere. Originally, the early manufactured models had a full walnut handguard, and later it was found that that was too fragile, so they developed a synthetic, and it was in two parts, and later on it just had a full synthetic cast part. Sorry, I don't want her to come to me. And it's all fiberglass, solid. They're usually cast in a brown or camo pattern, camo colors. And the rifle has the storage in the stock for the butt stock, or the cleaning kit, sorry. The safety is the same as the Garand, and it has this nice magazine catch release down here that's pretty easy to use. The sling is the same design as the M1. The go away. Sorry. If it's not a cat, then it's a yellow jacket. So with the sights, we have the standard aperture rear sight. Then for the front sight, it's mounted directly on the flash hider, which also contains the bayonet lug, and it is adjustable for windage. So as manufactured, as I said, it had a walnut stock, and one problem that came up is we had entered into Vietnam with very wet conditions, wet, humid conditions, and they found that this caused the stock to swell up and hinder operation. So that was one of its big downfalls. It was great for open terrain and all that, but it was too bulky and heavy, and it just wasn't up to jungle warfare. So there was a lot of infighting going on, and they were replaced by the M16 rifle, which a lot of people did not want. I know one of my relatives, he said he was issued his M14 and he wanted nothing to do with the M16, but he was he was in very early. He was also in Korea and used the M1, which he loved. But a lot of people wanted to keep them, but they pretty much relegated them to limited standard in 1967 when the M16 was made the standard rifle. So they were stored, and a lot of them were stockpiled and sent away. A lot of them ended up like this one and sent to Captain Crunch, were destroyed. For a while there were civilian companies that were reactivating them by welding together the cut receivers. That's why they went to crush, so you couldn't reactivate them. And they were legal for a minute until the ATF decided they weren't. There's a lot of companies now that will cast their own receivers. There's a few new companies that forge receivers. These were made with forgings and not cast as the civilians were. So it just like the M1 rifle, they're solid cast receiver. The rifle, as I may have stated, I can't remember, in the beginning, they were the basis for the SWS, the sniper weapon system. There was the M21 version and the M25. The sniper versions are still in use today in limited numbers, and they have limited roles. The Navy had some for firing like grappling equipment, and they were used on shooting teams. I'm not sure if they still use them, but there's very few that are able to be owned by civilians. They had to be registered by a certain time, so there's only a certain number of legal, fully functional select fire M14s available to license holders. They were a pretty accurate rifle. This thing is supposed to be accurate without any optics to about 500 yards. It's able to take optics with this design. It has a threaded hole and block so that you can mount optics. It has to be offset because of the bolt design and the loading, and they are very accurate in that configuration. Sorry for being all over the place. I'm just a little nervous about getting stung, so I will just remain very still. The bayonet for this rifle was the M6 bayonet, and it fit in the M8 A1 scabbard. Go away. And it had other accessories that were issued with it, like the belt pouch for the magazines and the cleaning kits and such. I'll show you the design. So the catch locks on the back of the magazine, like that, You stick it in, and they're now locked in. You'd have 20 rounds. You push it forward, and it unlatches. You have a bolt hold release when it's not loaded. The magazine. And they did later come up with a fiberglass stock to replace the wood. I'm not sure if they were ever actually issued in service or if they came too late, but the current sniper versions, I believe, had or did use the fiberglass stocks. So they are there. A lot of these are still used for drill and parade and such. I believe the honor guards at Arlington use the M-14, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's what I have for you. My videos are kind of dull, but that's okay. I hope there was something in there that you learned, and hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you come back. If you haven't already and you think it was worth it, give a like and subscribe, and I'll try and find more things for you. We'll see how long we can do the Firearms Friday. So anyways, again, I thank you for being here. Be kind, help make the world a better place, and I'll see you in the next one.